God bless my haters. God bless fake hoes. God bless these haters. Cause God don't leave no bad. All I do is get it. 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 All I do is get it.
Like it's a Sunday, It's hard to get it together sometimes.
Are
I
you not
barely got.
shaving?
No,
What's
no.
going on? Who is this imposter?
It's
Excuse me.
hobo chic, honey.
I can't. He still looks amazing, but normally,
Oh my God, no! I feel like I need to go to a spa. I need to go
and so it shall
need
be
to
done.
exfoliate,
That's what we're doing.
soak my feet because I'm looking like I belong in the color purple. I can't I don't know what the hell is going on.
It's
with
giving
me.
Miss Seeley.
Yeah,
It's
like
okay. I can't. I can't, y'all. We are so
my
happy to
God.
be here. We don't know what to do. We're like kids in a candy store because we've been Zooming for the past couple of months
Yeah.
due to COVID, which is still here. But, at this point, I don't think anybody cares. Like, it's like if he dies, he dies. Like, that's the point we're at. The Rocky, what was it, Rocky 4?
Right.
The Russian, that's how I feel. Like, whatever's meant to be is meant to be.
COVID's about to be 3, y'all. Can you believe that?
Who?
She's 2.5.
She's about to be 3.
Miss Corona.
Corona.
She's a toddler. No, for real. Like, it's crazy, right? And we've learned to adapt to a world with her.
With her.
What is it going to be like without her?
I don't know. And I don't think I
Oh,
want to know.
my God.
But, yes, we are back. We're excited. We're giddy, as you can see. And I'm actually really, really, really excited about our guest today, Miss Anyelis Cordero from Propel on Purpose? Or
Yes.
does it just pop? Pop?
Both.
Popping.
She's
propelling
gonna
on
she's
purpose,
yeah
and she's popping.
she's gonna tell us all about what she does for a living, which I am so proud of her trajectory to get there. I've known her for close to 20 years now. It's crazy. She knew me when I was a wee little bilingual little brown man who didn't speak English properly, and then she saw me, grow into a put together adult,
This
which I
sexy
can't
beast.
claim. I can't claim today though. I'm not put together.
Yes, he is. He's still sexy, okay? He's still sexy.
Oh, thank you,
Doesn't
Shirley.
have all
So
the
are you,
frills.
honey? Let's talk about you. What is going
Hey,
on?
I'm trying to live out here, okay? And people, like when I post mostly on Instagram. I'm like 2 seconds away from deleting Facebook because it's like for old people and it's a waste of my time. But on Instagram, I try
Shirley.
to chart my journey because the first thing people will say when you lose a ton of weight is, oh, she had surgery, she had it. No, I didn't, bitch. I was in the gym, okay? I was eating green vegetables. I gave up meat. I gave up dairy. I'm doing my fruit. And it is not easy, but
Such a journey, right?
it's a journey. But like looking just at the promo and looking at the what do you call those things? The what do you call the video? I'm using my vocabulary.
Like B-roll.
Whatever that is, where it shows your past and present.
We should
and all
know
that.
this. We were journalism majors.
It's late, y'all. Can't remember the name.
My fault, Rutgers.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Michigan.
We forgot.
But just looking at it, I'm like, oh my God, I can see every single pound that I lost. I've lost 52 pounds, 52.5 pounds.
Good for you, Shirley. What
praise
is your
God. I already had like 20 pounds to lose. So between brunching and lunching with y'all,
Oh my God.
and stress and COVID and
Sorry about that.
it's all your fault. I gained an
Oh,
additional
Lordy.
30 pounds. So now I'm like back to where I was, like square one when I first moved here in
Good for you.
2008. So just seeing though, that's what keeps you going is seeing the progress.
Like
that
the
you
old
made.
photos, yeah.
Like
It always does it.
who was she and how did y'all let me get that fat? Like
We love you just the same, honey.
where were my friends though, y'all? How?
You know,
Surely
sometimes
just put
you
the mac
gotta.
and cheese down and just walk away. That's what y'all should have said.
Honey, you gotta eat and be merry sometimes. Like
Be married.
whatever makes you happy. Like
Whatever
I'm not
makes
gonna.
me happy.
You know. As long as you're happy, honey.
I was really happy. I was eating my feelings. I was quite happy, but
Most people do.
most people do, and that's what I wanted to try to touch on today. Is like, I think with quarantine, a lot of people realized just how unhappy they were with their jobs.
Yeah.
And people have quit. I think the last time I checked, it was like 4.4 million people across the United States just like quit
Up
their
and left.
jobs
Up and
with
left.
no plan B.
Yep. And it's affecting like a lot of the students that we teach. Like I'm a high school teacher, so a lot of my students who would normally be preparing to apply to college and go off to college are now thinking of alternative routes to reach that level of success. So they don't want to go to college. They want to start their own business.
don't
They
wanna
want to
go.
make money off of like any platform that is out there for them.
They're telling you like I'm not going. And
Yeah, like I could make easy money by doing X, Y, Z. So why go to college where I'm going to be indebted forever?
And I see nothing wrong with that. And I actually told one of my coworkers, like, college is not for everybody. One, it's just not. And I personally think like if you're not gonna be a doctor or a lawyer or something that's like specialized engineer where you have to go to college, I wouldn't recommend it. And yeah, that's just my honest opinion. I think that everything that we had to go to school to learn, you can learn on YouTube.
I know.
And Google it.
I kind of wish I had been a part of this generation. I'm not going to lie, just because of all the opportunities that they're given. Oh, my Lord.
There's so many opportunities, and you can capitalize off of like the ignorance of people like me. I just learned how to like take pictures of what do you call it when you scan the app?
Like the QR.
QR
is that what it's
code.
called? The QR codes, yeah.
Leave me alone, Charles. Stop judging me.
No, seriously, I learned to use that, I would say, at the start of like the pandemic.
I didn't know how to do it, so I went to Planet Fitness, and they shamed me because I was the only one that still had the little tag.
Oh, I still have that.
See? Welcome to the old people's
It's
club.
like reading an actual book versus doing like a Kindle or a Nook or whatever. Do they still have Nook? Is that a thing?
I don't even know if Nook is a thing.
But I like reading the actual book. Like I like the way the pages feel. I like the smell of a book. Not that I read
too.
much. You know, a bookmark. Like you buy a cute bookmark.
I was about to say something. I was about to say that's what she said. That's what she said.
Oh, it's that type of show.
That's what she
Okay, we
said.
are
Listen, I am fully
feeling-
caffeinated.
Wow.
But I was saying, I went to Planet Fitness and the thing broke, so it was like split. And I'm like, can you just give me another one? He's like, we don't make those anymore. Like, what do you?
Yeah, we stopped making them in like 1995.
He's like 19-year-olds, like looking at me like,
They don't
dumb
use
hoe, we don't do
any of
this
that.
anymore.
No,
So he's like, let
everything
me
is,
show you.
Like absolutely digital. It's really crazy.
Everything is digital.
Really crazy.
You still shame me. He still shames me for my notebook, you guys. He said it looks like Harriet the Spy.
Harriet the Spy. She has a notebook that she brings to every show.
Because I'm old and
It's
I
really
forget.
cute.
Thank you.
So our kids are putting everything in their phones now. So sometimes like the art of note taking is a thing of the past too. So I'll tell them to copy down certain things, and they are taking pictures.
They take pictures of
and
the
I'm
thing.
like, what are you gonna do with these pictures?
Yep. But there's something to writing something down on paper. It commits it
It
to memory.
sticks to your memory. That's what I've always thought, but maybe it doesn't.
They don't do any. My kids don't do anything with those pictures. They got screens and screens of pictures, and I'm like, y'all still failing your test though. So what was the point of taking pictures of all the
Yep.
slides? Because you still don't know.
Yep,
I
yep.
read.
So I get them though. I give them extra credit if they actually show me a notebook of notes.
Ooh,
So if
that's a
they
thought.
just take pictures, then
Maybe I'll do that.
they don't get it.
But I don't know. I'm a dunce. We're all dunces because we should have been Cardi B. Cardi B is rich out here.
Oh
She ain't
my
went to nobody's
God.
school, sir.
Oh my God.
No one's school. So
What
you
did?
and I,
Where did we go wrong, Shirley?
we were lied to.
Girl.
I was lied to. I was told to be a strong black woman. That's not what they're
Lordy.
checking for, boo.
Oh my God. I wanted to be an actor so bad.
And we're
then
going to be.
I got sucked into academia, and
We're going
look at
to
me
be.
now, dear Lord. Oh,
Fox and I are going to the
Never
West
familiar.
Coast. We're going to the West Coast this summer. We got some things going.
we got some things
Big things.
in the works.
In
I
the
don't know what
works.
we got in the works, but
We can't
I hope
say
it's
we're
good.
not at liberty to say right now, but it's not too late, boo. Our dreams
we're gonna
are still alive.
we're gonna be insecure out there.
We're gonna be in. Yes, I must go to Inglewood. I have to see. I'll go. I want to take a picture. I have to. Shout out to my boo. I love Issa. It's like,
Yeah,
wow.
she's great. Nate was actually watching. He binge watched the entire series in like 7 days.
Recently.
Yeah, like all
Now
last
he's
week.
addicted.
He finished it already.
But it's like it was sad. It was like a death because I'm like, what am I supposed to do now on Sundays? Like I
Like
don't
what else
know
do you
what
watch?
to do.
Yeah.
And it was so real, like every single plot, storyline, outfit,
So real.
song, I could relate to that.
Everything.
Every single thing, and I'm not
Euphoria is
even.
really good on HBO. I love
Euphoria?
Euphoria. Yeah.
See, this is where I have
With
my notebook.
Zendaya.
Ooh, really?
Really good show.
love Zendaya.
It's
That's my
it's
boo.
really it's a bit weird and kind of bizarre watching high school students and what they experience, like the drugs, alcohol, the sex, right? But
Euphoria, like we high Euphoria. That's what we
Yeah.
talk about.
there's a lot of drugs on the show, a lot of drinking. So the content itself doesn't seem like it should match a teenage population demographic, but it does.
That's
and
what they're into.
It's such a good show. The
That's
way
what
it's
they're
shot
into.
is just so beautiful.
We had a student who came, well, not at this school, at my last school, who came to school high on cocaine. Okay.
Dear
Had
Lord.
snorted a line, and it was a whole big thing. Cause I'm like, I thought cocaine was for like rich people. I thought like poor people smoke like crack and
Crack.
stuff. Where you get coke from, boo?
Crack is whack, honey.
Crack is whack.
I learned that from
Rest
Whitney.
in peace, Whitney. Rest in peace, Queen. But you were right. Crack is whack. They doing lines of coke
Oh,
now.
I
in the
miss
seventh
her.
grade.
I miss her. Yeah, but I feel like a lot more drugs are more accessible
It's more accessible.
to all people,
It's more
regardless of, where you come from, how much money you have.
And people are stressed out. And I don't think alcohol's cutting it anymore. I think they,
The jig is up for alcohol.
I don't drink at all
The
anymore.
jig is up. Like, our kids don't. Like, I remember our generation, when we were in college, people were, like, into cigarettes.
Really?
You tell our kids that you smoke a cigarette or you smoked one in the past,
They
they,
like
like,
low class?
shame you. They
Yeah.
really.
Are anybody who's still smoking cigarettes? Where you do that at?
People are still smoking cigarettes, but it's like weed is such a common thing among our
It's
students.
common. Mm-hmm.
In our school, they get caught with like weed pens, like every other day.
The vaping pens are.
They
So
go to
what
the
happens if they
bathroom.
get caught with it?
They get suspended
For how many days?
for a few days, no more than 5, because it's like non-violent. So
Mm.
they get suspended, and then they come back into the community, and then they do it again. I'm sure.
Wow.
Try not to get caught the second time. But
So this is happening a lot.
yeah, it's like an everyday thing. Like, kids are afraid to go to the bathroom. Like, the kids that don't involve themselves in any of that, they literally go to the bathroom. It takes them forever to come back because there are so many people in the bathroom smoking.
Now I'm gonna look out for
vaping.
that now, because I have a couple students that every
crazy,
day
right?
around the same time, Miss, can I go to the bathroom, Miss? And I'm like, what
Yep.
are y'all doing in there? So sometimes it's just to get a
Social
break.
hour.
Interesting. They're meeting in the bathroom.
They're vaping.
Alright,
And
I'm
those
gonna look
vapes
out
don't
for that.
smell like anything. They smell like
Fruit.
Fruit Loops,
I'm gonna look. Okay.
strawberry yogurt, like whatever. Like they have different flavors and scents and stuff.
I don't know. I
Girl,
don't know.
this world, what is
Wow,
happening?
This is,
Oh my
I'm
God.
not prepared for this. Like, I see how old people, you know how they just get old and set in their ways. They're ready to go. They've been on the earth too long. They're tired. Like, I don't know what else we can. Let's see. In the past 24 months, I got caught in a flood. Remember?
Oh my
I got
God.
stuck in Jersey. I had to sleep in my car.
Oh
all
my
night. Remember
God.
that?
Oh my God.
Let's see. I've lost my sense of taste and smell, and I've never had COVID. Let me repeat. I've never had COVID according to the test, but I can only smell and taste lemons, oranges, peppermint, green vegetables, and onions. And sometimes I can smell bleach. Sometimes today I couldn't.
Oh my
sometimes.
gosh, Shirley.
I've never had COVID. What's going on?
I don't know.
My
I don't
best
even
friend
know.
died of COVID. My friend lost her mom and her dad to COVID. I can't. Like, what
'Cause,
else
like,
can we take?
every direction, every single direction. Oh, Apollonia, yes. You need to have Apollonia back.
Yes, please do my makeup. I don't know how. Please.
Apollonia is one of our very constant,
I love you.
loyal friends of the show.
Drag queen extraordinaire.
I know, we need to have her back because she is.
Apollonia. Is the real Apollonia still alive?
Ooh,
From Purple Rain?
that is a good ass question. I haven't thought of
I
her
know
in a
Vanity
while.
is not. Is the other one? I'm gonna have to research that now. I don't know.
We're all over the place, by the way.
Oh,
Clearly.
sorry. Our guest is looking like.
Oh my
can't
God. She's like, what is
listen.
the point of this? She's like, why did I come here?
But it's because we have to reacclimate with her because we don't see each other as
I
much as we
know.
used
We
to.
talk like every day, but we don't see each other physically.
Texting
like,
him all
the
day,
time.
every day,
All
but
the
we don't
time.
get to see each other. But again, our guest is Anyelis Cordero from Pop or Propel on Purpose. Talking to us about how she has started this amazing organization organization which specializes in the plight of Black and brown people, diversity, inclusion, career changers. She's helping us, you guys, and I am so excited because I think a lot of people want to do this and they don't know how. And what I wanted to talk to her about was like some of the discrimination that probably even in her industry she's still seeing amongst people that look like us. So, should we take a break or should we?
Proud to announce a new internet television station called LDM Network. And on this station, we're going to be bringing you live talk shows, music reviews, independent music artists, videos, sports, live events, and much, much more. Go to www.ldmnetwork.net for more information and all the shows that are going to be on this network. Again, that's www.ldmnetwork.net. And hey, if you are an independent artist or you love to hear independent music, go to our new radio station called LDM Radio. Go to www.ldmradio.com for more information on where to listen or submit your music.
Student experience is very unique. And then you come into the workplace and we stop talking about that experience. Mm-hmm. Actually, even when you go to graduate school, people stop talking about the first gen experience. And what I think is really interesting about this is that it is one of those like invisible dimensions of diversity that intersects all of the other dimensions of diversity. Because you could be first gen and be Latino, you could be Black, you could be white, Asian, gay, straight, man, woman. It's about the experience of having to figure it out on your own because no one in your family in this country, or perhaps, you are not an immigrant, but no one in your family has had the opportunity or the access to either earn a degree or to navigate these professional spaces.
Absolutely.
Or to even run a business, right?
Yeah.
And so so there's something about that experience that's very unique that comes with a set of challenges that we don't talk enough about. And I spent 10 years in corporate America, 4 years in the nonprofit sector right after college. And so I have experienced it myself, and then I see how difficult it is for folks when they have this experience, and because of it, they lack these, like, the knowledge and the resources and the social capital to thrive. It takes them a while to learn because there's so much shame in admitting, like, oh, I don't know what these unwritten rules are, or like, oh, how do I gain a mentor or a sponsor? You know, what are the politics? Like, they're not even aware of these things until they go through it, until you make a lot of mistakes, or until you find your people that are helping you along the way. And then something interesting happens that you get to a point in your career where you're thriving, and you could be making good money, you could be enjoying what you're doing. Fast forward, then a lot of people, and you mentioned this, I think the pandemic has really highlighted this for folks. You get to a point where there is no meaning, there is no joy. You're doing it for the money, and some people, it's not even about the money.
It's not even about the money anymore. Hello?
You know?
They said most of the people that quit were like our essential restaurant workers, and they're like, I'm done with this. I can't.
Yeah, and a lot of it is women who've had to like navigate, either being a mom or being some kind of caretaker, and working from home, and all of those challenges. It gets to a point where it's like, this isn't worth it. It's not worth my mental health. So I think we've realized in the last 2 years that life is short, time is precious, and you have this one precious life to live. So I gotta figure out, what is the thing that brings me meaning and joy?
What's my purpose?
What is my purpose? And I love the word purpose instead of passion, because I think telling somebody to pursue their passion is actually the worst advice you can give someone, because you don't always know what that is. Also, passion is more like, I think it's selfish. It's like, oh, what do I like? What brings me joy in the moment? Whereas purpose, it's a sense of
What am I supposed to
consistent
give?
meaning and contribution. How do I contribute my gifts to the world? How do I make an impact?
I just got chills.
Yeah. I that was my next question is, how does someone determine what their purpose is? Like, is it something that you would do for free, or something that you don't mind doing all day, every day? Like, how do you know what is your purpose versus just something I just really like to do?
That's an excellent question, and I don't know that there is an answer for everyone. I think it's a journey and it's a process. But when you know what your calling is when you get that sense of joy, when you get that sense of meaning. And what I have found in my own journey and working with clients and folks in my network is that people who are the happiest in life, they have found a way to make a contribution that is greater than themselves. So it's a combination, I think, of doing something that you're really good at, that you have these like talents, these gifts, these skills, and you're doing that to make a great contribution, as well as.
No, keep going.
Okay. So you're using these gifts.
Oh,
Sorry!
God.
Listen.
This needs to go in the spoof.
Yes, right?
It doesn't. Did I break it? Because I ain't got no money to pay for it. Is there another one?
No.
She got mine.
Wait, that's the one that you did?
That was,
That's the, yeah.
This is the old one. Welcome to live TV, guys. All right.
Looks good.
All right, it's
Wait,
this.
place it better, Shirley. Move it down a little bit, because I feel like it's gonna fall again.
So
The
you just lean it
microphone.
over, right?
Slide it.
No, the silver piece that go all the way down. Go all the way down.
Oh, it's kind of like shift down.
Yeah, go all the way. Keep going. Go right there. Keep going.
Damn.
This is reminding me of something else that
Ooh,
Charlamagne
very
is.
phallic.
It's a little phallic.
Give it to me when it's phallic. Is that a microaggression? How you know I know how to work the mic
She
stand?
just played off your gifts.
So maybe that is my purpose.
Listen,
Oh
does it
my
bring you
God.
joy?
It does bring.
You have one. I don't have one. I don't know what to do with it. I can't. I'm sorry, you guys. This is my fault. Okay.
All good.
As you were saying.
Yes. So I think it's a unique combination of, using your gifts, your strengths, your skills, and your experiences to make a contribution but it's also something that you deeply enjoy, that brings you that sense of meaning. And so for some people, it can mean in their career, and I actually think that, it takes a while. It's part of the journey of like becoming, if you will. Yes, shout out to Michelle Obama. But it's part of the process, which is why I don't think passion works, because passion changes. Whereas purpose is about connecting the dots, and if you do it right, like you'll see that there's like a theme in the things that you're really excited about that bring you that sense of joy, and you have to be very introspective and pay attention and connect those dots throughout your journey to realize, you know what, this is the thing that's my calling, and I say that life has a way of pushing or pulling you towards your purpose, but you have to be paying attention and doing the work to make those connections,
Is there a quiz that we can take to figure this out?
Yeah, actually.
There is?
There's a ton of quizzes.
No, we had them in high school. Like your counselor would give it to you to try to figure out like what your strengths and weaknesses. And
I don't remember, because I have taken those quizzes before. I just can't remember what it said about me.
I'll find you. I think I have one for the girls. I'll get you one. But it keeps popping up. And even in life, like she just said, I think that whatever you were purposed to do, it's going to keep popping up in your life. Like for you and I, we both had the same experience. We said when we were younger, we used to like line up our dolls and our stuffed animals and act like we were having a talk show. And I always knew that I wanted to be in some type of media, so we both journalism, communication students, acting, right? Some people.
And even in doing the teaching, Shirley, we're talking to the public, right? We're talking to our students.
You're acting.
Yeah.
Every day.
We're conducting a show. Literally, it's a show.
It's funny you say that, because some people do believe that as children we know what our calling is, but because of all of this social programming, we don't pursue that. Which again is why I love focusing on the first gen journey, because I think part of the challenge is that when you're the first, you're on survival mode. And that's the biggest challenge. You're just, looking to survive, to make it through, and then that actually serves you. That's a fuel. Because it's that fight or flight, and that's how we're able to thrive through all of these challenges and amass so much success.
Right.
And then you get to kind of like a point where you plateau. And that's where a lot of people that I work with, they feel stuck, they plateau, and they don't know how to make that transition. And there's a lot of fears, because now that survival mode starts to become the thing that holds you back instead of that thing that propels you forward.
Yeah.
And if you think of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, psychology, shout out to that very
yep.
expensive undergraduate degree that I have.
Was that your major?
Behavioral science was my major, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the peak of the pyramid is self-actualization. And many of us, like, we're fucking badasses. Like, we do so much. We gain degrees, we, build generational wealth, we take care of our families, we take care of our friends, we do all of these things. We get to this point in the pyramid, and then you plateau, and there's so much fear because we don't have a safety net, because we're black and brown, and many of us, come from communities that are under-resourced and underserved. We get to this point, and we fear that if we take it to the next level, we're going to lose it all.
We're going to lose it.
We're going to fall down the pyramid. We have to start over, or we're going to lose all of our money, or, what if I'm not successful? But it's like, boo, look at how far you've gone. Like, you're not starting from scratch.
And most of
Oh my
us,
God.
not all.
Imagine having to.
But imagine people like myself who didn't have those bottom foundational needs met all the time. There
Right.
wasn't always adequate food. There was always adequate shelter. But we still did what we had to do in survival mode. So then sometimes when you're plateauing, it's like you realize, like, wait a damn minute, I didn't have what I was supposed to have. And then it's almost like resentment, anger. But I don't want to lose my paycheck. But now where do I go from here? And I think a lot of people got to that point during quarantine. Like, nah, I'm going to do what I need to do for myself now.
I feel like I plateaued years, like maybe like 6-7 years ago,
You're not the only one.
to be honest. And
There's
then
so many people.
I've reached the point where I'm like, maybe I am a lifelong teacher. Maybe I am going to be in the class. That's how I feel. And I think I'm coming to terms with a realization that may not be what is actually my purpose, but because I don't want to be unhappy doing what I'm doing, I've convinced myself that it is my purpose.
Same safe.
Yeah, because I don't want to live unhappily. And I'm not unhappy teaching. Like, I love going to work. I literally love it. When I'm there, I love it, right? But I know that there's more
There's
for me.
you keep hearing the whispers. You've heard them
Oh.
over and over, and this
Angie.
happens all the time. It's that voice in your
Those
head talking
whispers.
to everybody out there that says, this isn't it. This isn't it. You are meant to do more. And we know that. You hear that voice, but we do all of the things
Oh my
to
gosh.
shut
I'm
down that
gonna cry.
voice, to mask,
Yeah, because that
and we
car
convince
note is
ourselves.
calling, cable is calling, groceries. So it's like, I'm just gonna keep teaching because it's safe. But the voice is like, nah, this
That
is not.
voice.
And you stay in the comfort zone,
Yes.
and you convince yourself, this is it. This is as far as I can go. And here's the thing. This is like if you take anything away from today is we need to normalize ending any relationship, whether
Amen.
it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, a
Preach.
job. Not when things have gotten so bad, so toxic that you're like, I can't take it anymore. I have to leave. But when you get to the point of like, nothing is wrong, but I know that this has served its purpose, and it's time to find the next thing that serves its purpose.
No longer serving you. And
Because it's no longer serving.
it doesn't have to be bitter. Even
Right.
with platonic friendships, you know,
Yep.
sometimes things we just have grown apart. We don't
Yep.
serve each other anymore, and it doesn't have to be a long text message. You just, I personally think God will remove certain things and people from your
Yes.
life that no longer serve you, and you should not feel guilty about making those choices for yourself.
Yeah!
Vice versa. If you feel like you have to cut Shirley off,
Yep.
cut me off. Do what you got to do, boo. Life
Right.
is on, right? It is what it is. Everybody needs life is short.
It's time to
guys.
say goodbye,
It's
Shirley.
true.
Listen, Fox cut me off. Listen here. We had a good run. Love you. No, but
We had a good 5 years.
mental health, you know, and
Yes.
you know that's what I was gonna ask you. Do you get people that come to you in a state of depression and they're looking for you to like fix their lives and fix their mental health? Like, how do you handle people that come to you with absolutely no plan, absolutely no perceived
Direction.
purpose, and they're looking for you to fix everything? How do you handle that?
Yes, that's the thing. That's why I just said what I said, is because too many people wait to the point where they can't take it anymore, and it's become so toxic, and they're so unhappy that it is impacting their mental health, that they, they get the Sunday scaries and the Monday blues, and they're counting down till Friday, and
You are
every
speaking the
day-
teacher's
right, to a
worst
lot
nightmare.
of people, yeah. Every day they wake up, and it's hard to get up in the morning. You're not excited. And so you wait too long, and then you're really in survival mode, because you're in that like, I can't take it anymore. I need to be gone like yesterday, and then you're making decisions from a place of like being emotional and being traumatized instead of making strategic decisions. And so I think the thing that people lack the most is that sense of clarity, because you're stuck. This no longer is serving your purpose, but you don't know what else, or you might know. A lot of people say, oh, I don't know what I want to do next, and then in one coaching conversation, I realized, like, you just have all of this fear
It's
around
fear.
the thing
Fear.
that you want to do. You don't think you can do it, but I think everybody knows that calling, like, especially the older you get and the more experiences you have, and the more, like, hopefully personal work you're doing on yourself. But we're stuck in that survival mode mindset, and it's holding us back. And so it's a lot of work around clarifying what do you want out of life? Because I think if you're if you're the first in your family to go to college, you didn't really get to think about that decision, to your point earlier. Like, you just knew that was the thing that you had to do. That was what we were told. We had to go to college, earn a degree, and get this like safe and secure job. That was the path.
Oh
But there
my
are
God.
so many paths. And you didn't have the chance to explore, right?
Whoever told me that,
They lied to us.
I want to get a one-on-one chance in the ring
Like,
and just be her. Like, I want to beat you up, ma'am.
And like, look, I'm not saying that college isn't. I love
did
college.
too.
I like, because college isn't just about the education; it's about the
It's the
experience, and
experience.
the growth, right?
Absolutely.
And like the statistics show, for most people, unless like you are doing these like really creative things that are making you that money, over a period of time. But the majority of that population, if you have a college degree, you do earn more money. You do have a higher earning potential. And if you look at COVID and layoffs, because I looked at this data, people with degrees had the lower, numbers of being like let
Let
go as
go
a
of their
result,
jobs.
right?
Gotcha.
And so I don't think that, but to your point, not everybody is interested in college. Not everybody needs to go right away.
Exactly.
I think there's a tremendous value in taking a gap year and doing some exploration and starting off in like, a 2-year school first, a community college, and getting some experiences.
Finding yourself.
Yeah, or
good.
doing a trade, because we lack a lot of resources. Like, there's so many trades out there that don't have enough people to do the jobs because we gear students towards college.
You're absolutely right.
But anyway, so
Wow.
if you're the first to have to like go to college, you went and you followed that path, and you didn't get a chance to explore, and then you just went on to the next thing, the next path that you were supposed to do, right?
next degree.
Right, the next degree, the next job, and then you get to a point in your 30s. I'm in my 30s, and a lot of my friends, you get to a point where you're like, I'm like 10 years into this profession, and I don't even know how I got here. I don't like doing this. I don't want to keep doing this.
Preach.
But how the hell do I get out?
Right.
And so it starts with like some of that exploration to clarify. And so like the 3 pillars that I focus on in any of my coaching programs, it's helping you get clarity, get confidence, and a lot of people lack the confidence that they have the skills that they need to do the next thing,
Yes.
or to grow where they are. Because sometimes it's not that you want something else; it's just that you're stuck because of some of the stuff that you mentioned. There's still a lot of institutional isms, right? And so learning how to navigate the spaces that you're in, or going to a different space and continue to do the thing that you do really well that you enjoy. So I think that's one area. People who just need to.
Confidence
And then the last one is courage.
and courage.
And courage,
Receive.
yes. And people think that people think that confidence is innate. Like, you're either confident or you're not. And that's just not true. Like, you build confidence by doing something, by having the mindset that you think you can do it, and then by doing the thing. And the more you do it, the more confident you become. Like, you guys are super confident in front of this camera because you do it often.
We do it. And it is very important.
It is also innate, by the way.
It's innate. Like, we are innate. Like, that's why I said we both kind of had to share that comment. We were kind of born with this skill to run our mouths and be ridiculous. But I think it's also important to have people around you that are providing that energy and that reassurance.
Absolutely.
Like, you got this, you can do this, because a lot of us don't have that as first gen.
We
It's
don't.
just us. We're by ourselves. Like, case in point, when I first went to the University of Michigan and they had this huge computer lab with all these Mac computers, my high school, which was supposed to be this wonderful, specialized high school, #1 in the city, we didn't have any of those computers. So we were still at a deficit. So I was just like, I didn't know how to explain to people, I don't know how to use this computer. So I literally had to just sit there and figure out how to use this Mac that I had never seen before. And that, to me, did something to my self-esteem.
Yeah.
Because I felt like here are all these Beckys and, Brendans who have been
They
born
grew
with
up.
this stuff.
They grew up with a
grew
Mac.
it.
Yeah.
But then
I
they-
never used a Mac until I was a first-year teacher. So I was 22 years old, my first time
that
using a
wasn't
Mac.
that long ago, beloved.
And we had them in college, and I was always afraid to go to that computer lab because I knew I wasn't able to use those.
Do you see? And these
It's crazy,
things
right?
affect you mentally,
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted
Aw.
to know. Oh God, this is making me mad now.
Can we gotta give our younger selves a hug.
Well,
My
yes,
inner
that's
child.
yes. And it's funny because a lot of people come to coaching and it feels like therapy, and it's like, well, it is kind of, because you don't realize how much of like your stuff, like your traumas and like the things that you've overcome, impact the way in which you show up at work, the way that you lead, the way that you run your company, if you're a business owner. And so it's important to invest in coaching and to go through that process of like giving your inner child a hug,
Oh my God.
What
and
she
making
just said.
sure that you analyze, like, why do I have this fear, or I lack this confidence? Oh, it might stem from like the time where someone told me I couldn't do this thing, or that I wasn't going to make it. So you got to work through those things and realize how much you do have, how many skills, how much experiences, your natural born gifts, and the things that you've
Absolutely.
acquired. And doing that, having the clarity, and then building that confidence is what leads to courage. Because courage is the other thing. It's like, oh, you're either courageous or you're not. It's like, no, courage is doing the thing even when you have fear that it might not work out. But if you have the clarity and you have confidence,
confidence.
it builds the courage to take those action
Absolutely.
steps to get you out of being stuck.
It's like not being able to do a triple axel, right? you won't have the confidence if
I
you've never
love this example.
if
Go
if
ahead.
you've never done a triple, if you've never ice skated,
I can't ice skate that.
right? How are you planning to do a triple axel?
How?
But the more you practice
Right.
the triple axel and ice skating, the more confidence you develop doing so, and then that gives you the courage to actually go out
Gives you
and
the
try
courage to
it.
actually go out and do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think I've learned, and I know you've learned too, just how to like pledge allegiance to the struggle.
Mm.
Because that struggle is what made us who we are. So that's why I get a little apathetic sometimes when I hear some of our students with their first world problems. Because I'm like, you're here. And the school literally gives you 3 meals a day. Like, if you don't have food at home, you can get food at school. You have a laptop that we're giving you. You have all these resources. They're giving them free instruments to play band. I didn't have none of this. So when they're like, get over it. So I'm a little at team apathy right now. Because the struggle that
Shirley,
we have had.
You are a meanie.
I mean, I'm horrible. I'm awful. But it's okay. I think it's made me stronger, and it's made me appreciate just the little bitty things. And these kids are so entitled and privileged, and just what I'm getting to is they can't take any type of disappointment. They have no resilience. If one thing goes wrong, they're ready to commit suicide, and it's like, dude. Stop.
I also think it's like a generational thing, right? Like we grew up having to like deal with a lot of struggles that our students now don't have to deal. They have like different issues that they have to deal with, but I think that the same lesson applies to them. Like they need to be confident, they need to be clear in their purpose, and then they need to be courageous
You need to be courageous.
as well. You should patent that. I don't know if was
Working on
that
it,
Maslow or is that your own thing?
No, that is Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a thing, but
Did he come up with the clarity, courage?
No,
that
that's
was
mine.
you.
That's mine.
Girl, you need
Yes.
to.
So we need to
Yes.
come up with the funnel where your needs are not met. And your world is turned upside down.
But you,
So that's what that's about.
but you make a really great point about allegiance to the struggle, because I think that's a big part of staying stuck. Is that you're like, oh, but I can figure it out, or I'll be okay. Like I can do another year of teaching. You're so used to the struggle
We do it
and
every year.
surviving that you think you can just take it again. Keep taking it.
Shirley and I
It
talk
becomes
about
abusive.
this.
It becomes abusive.
Since the day I met Shirley, we've been talking about how we are not teaching for longer than a year. Since 2018,
But
Shirley.
we've been working on stuff. We've been planning. Like, we've come a long way. boo.
Shirley, we got to hold each other accountable. That's another
Yes,
thing, Angie,
you
right?
need accountability.
Accountability.
Which
We
is
got
why
stuff
working with
happening,
Coach
y'all.
works.
It may not look like it because we don't talk a lot about it, but we're getting out these
Yep.
teaching streets. So, my principal, you can start looking for my replacement soon. 'Cause I can't do it. It's not even about what I want to do. I love my kids.
It's a noble profession. Like I've learned and I've grown so much being a teacher. I think it's really taught me like everything that I am as a person. Like it's that one experience that accounts for more than I would say 50% of what I learned growing up.
Yeah.
Like it's taught me a lot of beautiful lessons, but I feel like our purpose is more than we're giving ourselves the ability to do right now.
What are
Oof.
some of the...
This is so much. Oh my God.
this is church right here. This is church.
Need a stiff drink after this.
I'm surprised y'all don't have it on set. I was like, oh,
Shirley
should I bring
doesn't drink.
I
champagne?
don't drink
Oh,
anymore.
So it would just be me, the alcoholic.
Good for you.
There might be a White Claw or something out there from like 2020. I don't drink because I know a lot of people want to completely switch industries, and a lot of it does involve like your packaging, your presentation, speaking, grammar. Do you help them with that? Packaging.
It's more around the packaging of their brands. And so the first thing is mindset work, and I'm also delving a little bit more into like body healing, because a lot of people talk about mindset, but all of these like traumatic experiences that we've been through, they still live in our bodies.
Yes.
Right? Like
Wow.
women store memory in their hips.
And
Men are socialized not to talk about their emotions, so they store a lot of like pent up aggression in their body. And so when you're trying to make a change, it becomes difficult because not only is the mindset not there because you have all these fears,
Wow.
but then your body's also like, no, because you're still in that fight or flight, right, mode? So it's that kind of work, right, the foundation. And then once you start to get that clarity, it's about the tools, like your resume, your LinkedIn, your job search strategy. How do you talk about yourself? What is your brand's value proposition? how would you introduce yourself to someone that you met on LinkedIn or, you know, in a networking event if we ever have those again? And really having the confidence of like, here's what I do, here's how I do it, here's how I can, what I bring to the table essentially. So then we do that kind of work, and then it's about the accountability and the consistency of putting yourself out there, depending on what changed. So my clients range, it's either someone who is looking to do the same thing but elsewhere in a different company because they realize that they're not growing anymore in that company. And folks, people out there, think of yourself as like a seed, and a seed needs to be planted in the right conditions. So if you're in a company where your seed isn't being watered, the soil is spoiled, you know, like they're not taking care of people of color, they're just talking about diversity as, you know, lip service, or you're not under the right leader, you don't have a collaborative team, it's time to take your seed and go plant it somewhere else where you can grow. And too many people stay. Like, I know so many people who've been in the same organization for a decade or longer out of fear that they're not going to find the same salary or the same. It's kind of like the evil that you know, right? They think it's going to be, they'd rather stay with the evil that they know than like go and take a risk and go somewhere else because it might be worse. And it's like, yeah, but it could also be 10 times better.
Absolutely.
You know, and anytime I've made a career change, it's always been better.
Absolutely.
Or then if
You
it's
just have to do
not,
the
you
work.
can always like go somewhere else.
You can go somewhere else. There are so many jobs
my
out there.
God.
And now is the time because people are hiring left and right. Like organizations
Oh
are
my God.
transitioning
Oh my God.
so much because people are getting plugged by recruiters all
Yep.
the time. So it's either that or it's the person who wants to make a pivot where it's like, I am a teacher and I want to go into entertainment. And that's a little bit longer, right? That's a longer tail because you have to use the skills that you learned as a teacher. They might not always translate into the next thing, but many of them do. So it's about being able to talk about those skills in a way that it translates to whoever you're trying to impress for that next dream job. Or it's people who, and I had a client in 2021 like this. They did the thing, they loved it, they were in education for 13 years, and it wasn't that the job stopped giving her a sense of meaning and joy, it's just that she was in a different place in her life, recently married, trying to have a baby. It's like, this no longer is the place where I need to be. It doesn't match the kind of lifestyle that I want anymore, the kind of person that I'm you know, right, not that person anymore. I love the kids, I love working with them. I made a lot of contributions in this space, and now I want to explore this other creative side that I've been, you know, putting in the back burner for all these years. And so for her, it was exiting education to launch her own business.
That's right.
So, and there's a lot of people, it's the great resignation, people who are leaving.
The great resignation.
Yeah, leaving the workforce to explore, you know, entrepreneurship and owning businesses. Shout out to myself because I just did that.
That's so, like, when I hear that, that is such a beautiful thing to hear. Angie.
Especially people that look like us, because we're often taught not to do that. Do the safe thing. Go to school, do something,
my
just get a
God.
paycheck. And at the end of the day, if you're doing something that you love to do, that you're passionate, that you're purpose to do, the money will come.
Yes.
You won't work a day in your life if you're doing something that you love to do.
Or it doesn't feel like work. Like, it's a lot
Doesn't
of
feel like
work
work.
to run your own business.
Thank you. It doesn't feel like work.
But, you know, it's a different type of tired. Like, I work a lot in my business. I'm always thinking about it. I am willing to do all of the things, like come to the Bronx from New Jersey, right? Like, you.
Thank you
just,
again.
Anytime.
We'll
it just
validate your
feels
parking, by the
different.
way.
It just
Walk into
feels
your car,
different.
because they are shooting.
Do you work a 9 to 5? Is that like what you're, or
You mean now, like in my business?
yeah, like in your business? Like, what are your hours? Are you round the clock, but it feels like you're doing less than having to like go into a space where you're required to clock in and out?
I have structure because I came from the 9 to 5 corporate world. I've created a structure, and I have like, you know, pockets of time when I'm working on different things, but obviously a lot more flexibility. So it's like, oh, I have to go take my mom to a doctor's appointment, so I don't have to ask anybody. I can just schedule my work day around it. And I would say I do more
That's
things in
amazing.
the evening, or like when the creativity strikes, and you're like, oh, that's really. Sometimes I'm like, trying to fall asleep, and I'll get an idea,
Yep,
and it's like,
same.
oh,
Me
let me
too.
capitalize on this, and I get
Me
up,
too.
and then so I just start a little bit later the next day. So I love the freedom and the flexibility of just being able to follow a little bit of flow within the structure. So you have to have structure as an entrepreneur, otherwise, like, you can waste time. But I love that I can have some flow within that structure. And then on the weekends, it's not like I'm waiting for the weekend to do something. I can do it at any time. So that means that I might be working on a weekend to make up for it. So it's a different schedule.
So my question is, for someone who maybe is in corporate America or is a teacher or whatever, fireman, policeman, whatever, and they don't really have a ton of money saved, they don't really have the ability to just quit their job, would you say just continue to do both, work on your business and do your 9 to 5, or would you say take the Denzel approach, where he says just quit so that you don't have a choice but to be successful?
Ooh, that's a really great question. And the honest answer is it depends on the type of person that you are. Some people can do the Denzel, like my partner did that years ago, and he's someone who will just figure it out. And he actually called me the day that he was going to quit his like corporate job, and I was like, I don't know why you're asking me, because you don't need permission from anybody. Like, you're just going to do what you want to do. But if you want me to co-sign your madness, sure. He's like, great, let's go have a shot downstairs, and then I'm going to go quit my job. And I was like, all right. But there are some people who can't do that, because then they're creating a business off of that survival mode. So they're going to be worried about the bills, and that's going to impact their creativity. So for me, I started this business 2.5 years ago on the side. It was and I didn't call it a side business, but like truthfully it was on the side, because I wasn't, depending on the times of the year, my job was really busy. So it's like, well, then I'm not going to spend as much time, because it's not even about the time, it's like the mental energy that you put into it, right? And so those are two different schools of thoughts, and I would say it really just depends on how you thrive, and if you are someone who can manage two things, because not everybody can do that either, right? So I think that was my approach, and it worked for me, where it's like, hey, let me do this on the side. And the good thing about that is that there were a lot of learnings and things that I tried, that I tested, and in doing that, I have a lot more clarity now that I do it full time. So I am a big fan of that approach. However, I do see a lot of value in the other approach, and my partner calls it like burning the ship. It's like, if you burn the ship, you can't go back. Like, you have to figure it out. But again, not everybody's built to thrive in that sort of scenario. So you really it goes back to introspection. Like, you have to know the kind of person that you are, and like what conditions you're going to be able to pop in. Pun always intended.
I love it.
I love it. So how we have like a minute and a half left. How do people find you? Can you give them your information, please? Because I know a lot of people are going to have questions. You're going to get clients from this, because everybody's looking to transition.
I am going to be a client.
This is
Come over, boo.
Shirley too. Shirley, hello. Do we get a discount? No. I'm kidding.
Yes, totally.
I'm kidding. No,
Friends
no,
and
no.
family.
No. There should be no discounts. No discounts.
No
No.
discounts?
We have to pay.
tight out here.
No, but it's really important for us to invest in ourselves, and it's hard for us to wrap our minds around that, because we're not taught to do that when it comes to our careers, especially if you work in a certain profession. You're used to your employer paying for your professional development, right? So for a lot of people, especially first gens and black and brown, we're like, I don't know, you want me to pay how much for a resume or for like a coaching session? But I promise you that there's just something very special about working with a neutral, unbiased party. And a coach doesn't give you the answers. My job is to ask you the powerful questions that are going to get you to realize the answers yourself, right? And that in and of itself is like priceless. But then I also have an HR background. I have a master's in HR. I spent 10 years in corporate America. I know what hiring managers and recruiters are looking for. So I bring that to it too. So if you're ready, or you think you're ready to make some kind of career transition, to grow where you are, or to exit the workforce altogether and start your own business, you can find me at Propel on Purpose, either on Instagram, Twitter. My website is propelonpurpose.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Anyelis Cordero. I'm happy to work with anyone who is ready. You have to be ready to make the move, though, because some people
don't waste their time.
Yep.
Yeah, no. I have a lot of people that come to me like, oh, I need a resume. It's like, no, you don't. What you need is clarity and a strategy, because the resume is just a tool. It's not going to do anything for you if you don't know what you're going to use it for.
That's right.
So that's on the individual side. So I'm happy to help any first-time professionals. And, you know, my purpose is to empower people with the resources, the tools, to find that purpose and really find that sense of meaning and joy, and, you know, just like live happy.
I know. I hate using I don't hate it, but I feel like the word empowered is really overused. But I feel empowered
Oh, thanks.
right now. I do.
Amen.
Yes. Also, I work with organizations, so if you're a leader in a corporation or an institution, or in higher education, in the corporate side or the organization side, I do workshops and speaking engagements around leadership training for diverse leaders. And I also do a lot of work with first-generation college students. I do workshops for in higher education for schools, especially like EOF students. I serve on boards for nonprofit organizations that work with first-gen students. So if you're out there and you work in a higher education institution, holler at me to come talk to your students. Same with
Seriously.
organizations. So,
This was awesome. Thank you so much. I wish we had more time.
They're like, wait, what?
where's the pop?
Hey,
They just got off their phone.
Pop. We got soda pop in Michigan, so they probably think we're selling soda or whatever. But, thank you so much, guys, for
Thank
joining
you
us.
for
We are
having
out of time. Pop, Propel on Purpose. Any last words before we go?
Thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
being
having
here.
me.
Oh, of
So
course,
much for
anytime,
being
honey.
here, and we will have you back. No, certainly.
Yeah!
I can't with you. Bye, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.